important to have vehicles to get the message out and to inform our public about the progress that we're making in our city, and also acknowledge the city. And that is, as I was thinking and reflecting, driving here this morning, we're in the midst of not only hurricane season, but we're coming up on the 15th anniversary of Hurricane Katrina. And one of the priorities I know from the ground in driving recovery of this city from Broadmoor was that we anchor our civic institutions, our civic structures, our civic facilities, our community with resources so that we, as residents, could protect ourselves in the midst of any disaster that we would find ourselves in or need to seek refuge. And so our NOR facilities throughout the city of New Orleans, they're about community, and they are safe places for our residents. And so what we're doing here today, and I'm joined by my Deputy CAO, Ramsey Green. Thank you so much, Ramsey. And I call him the Chief Resiliency Officer as well. Vincent Smith, who is the Director of Capital Projects for the City of New Orleans. Mr. Larry Barabino Jr., who is the Chief Executive Officer of NOR. Thank you so much. And we are in the heart of course, the Treme community, District C, represented by Councilwoman Kristen Palmer. So it doesn't get any better than that, in my opinion, with this team. And I just appreciate the work that we've done collectively. But to get to this point, even 15 years later, continuing to deliver for the residents of our city. I will be, I believe on Thursday of this week, delivering a State of the City address. And during this vital time, as you know, needing to inform residents of the state of the city and how we are not only responding to the pandemic, but moving through it, and also what will our recovery look like. The number one priority has always been to protect the residents of the city of New Orleans, not only through this pandemic, but again, really an example that is being demonstrated here this morning to a citywide initiative to install emergency generators throughout for the most part, NOR facilities, again, throughout the city of New Orleans. Installation of the automatic transfer switches will allow, again, for us to connect, in the event of an emergency generator centers throughout the city during, again, a major disaster, a prolonged power outage, or even temporary shelter. You never know. And we always want to be just ready and prepared for what comes our way. Again, we've demonstrated that we know how to face challenges head on, and we're not going to stop. So we're going to ensure that backup power, again, in the event of there's any loss in our community, that there's a way for this city to respond to the needs of our residents, and doing so in real time. So I'm going to turn it over to my Deputy CAO, Ramsey Green, to let us know a little bit more about what we're doing here, getting into the technical aspects of what we're doing. But it's all tied to the resiliency of the city of New Orleans and meeting our people where they are, even in the time of need, always. Ramsey.
Thank you so much, Mayor. The only reason we stand out here today is because you've empowered our team to do this important work. And we celebrate the Citywide Emergency Generator program kickoff. We're very excited to be here. It's an $800,000 scope for critical upgrades at 9 different NORD centers. We're standing here at Treme Center in the shade, which is really nice. A lot of the time we do these events, we're out of the shade. But this is a center of a community. We've got Craig Elementary School right here. We have Louis Armstrong Park behind us. We have plans for that at some point. And we have the Treme Center, which under Vince Smith's leadership at CPA came back after a lot of different challenges. But it's a beautiful, I had a little time to walk around here with Larry and Vince and just see it. It's my first time in here since it was rebuilt. doing power sustainability, it's a small dollar project in the scope of manage $800,000 over 9 centers. But tell that to somebody who can't get into their home in the middle of a hurricane and get cool. This is worth a heck of a lot more money than that. This is an important project. The mayor made, as the pandemic broke out in early March, construction an essential industry, very much because we have projects just like the one we're standing at that needed to move forward. The pandemic doesn't change the other threats that face our city, including flooding, hurricanes, and the like, and we have to be prepared for those, and that's what we're celebrating today. I really want to acknowledge that as we continue with this construction program, whether it's the streets, the drainage, or the vertical infrastructure, our teams have really embraced safety, wearing masks. Social distancing on a job site is hard, but we're doing the best that we can. Last thing I'd say is in November of 2019, our citizens overwhelmingly voted for $500 million in bonds to move infrastructure projects in the city going forward. When the mayor came into office, there was about $1.8 or so billion in surface and subsurface infrastructure funds from FEMA that sat unspent, and we've really put that money to work. We put over $300 million worth of NTPs, notice to proceeds, and construction contracts to work since the city's first COVID diagnosis alone in March, which is a huge amount of money that's making a big difference in our city. That $500 million, we're going to be going to the city council this fall, showing how we're going to spend the first tranche of that, which is going to be north of $250 million. And our priorities include streets and drainage, community centers like the one we're standing at, public safety, and affordable housing. For the first time, the city's putting bond money into affordable housing.
And maintenance.
And the mayor, we talk a lot about some of the things we did before COVID that are paying off now. And that bond initiative is going to help us as sort of a local economic stimulus as we get those bonds sold and move forward with our infrastructure program next year. So thank you to the team who's worked on this project. I'd like Vince to come on up and talk a little bit about the details of the scope of the project. And thank you so much for being here. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Mayor.
Well, good morning. Good morning, Madam Mayor. It's an honor and a privilege to speak on behalf of Capital Projects. Our vision statement is to deliver the capital program to enhance the quality of life for the citizens of New Orleans. And Ramsey kind of stole my thunder a little bit as I thought about this project. It's small in value, but in terms of stature and impact, this project will be a major benefit to the citizens of New Orleans in the event that we experience a major inclement weather or power outage event. As the mayor and both Ramsey mentioned, we're installing automatic transfer switches, which will allow us to very quickly bring in emergency generators and connect them in a very efficient manner. And once again, that will provide cooling stations in the event of a post inclement weather event where we need to shelter some of our citizens. We'll have that opportunity as well. So that's major. That's major for the city. I want to take this opportunity to thank the project team, Diamond Construction, the contractor, Marrero Cudion is the designer, Palmer Reinhardt is the Capital Projects project manager. So we are privileged to be a part of this project, a part of this city, and a part of the team. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Vince. And I want to hear from my director, my CEO, Larry Barabino Jr.
Good morning, everyone. As Matt said, our residents and citizens of New Orleans, this is something that we look forward to being a part of. As NORD operates 11 multi-purpose recreational facilities citywide, it's a pleasure to be able to say that 9 of our facilities throughout the city will be able to be a safe space and place for our residents in case if there's a storm or natural disaster, anything that takes place. As we are ready today, partner with the health department, our homeland security, when there is a storm, when there is something that comes, we've opened Tremay Center, we've opened Rosenwald Center to house persons during storms, to weather the storm. So this is only the next step for us to ensure that it's a cooling center and it's 9 facilities citywide that will be able to house our residents in case of need. So I want to thank you, Mayor team, because one thing that I give our mayor credit for is she's always putting our citizens, our residents of needs, and in times of disasters, everyone do not have the ability to evacuate. But here with the partnership with Nord and all of the partners at the table, our contract spaces in the city of New Orleans at 9 of Nord locations. So thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Larry. And we're gonna get to that 11.
Yes.
All right. We start with 9, and that really is a major accomplishment for the city of New Orleans, and particularly, you know, at the end of the day, your first responders are your neighbors. Bottom line. And neighbors need safe spaces where they can go to protect themselves, to protect one another. And at the time of a disaster, you need those spaces more than ever. And I remember and recall firsthand that when those spaces were not available. So this is about moving our city forward and being resilient in the process, which our people have demonstrated that we know how to move through challenges and also pandemics. This is not a precedent in the city of New Orleans. So with that, what are we doing? We're gonna do what? Okay, let's do it. Okay, so we're gonna cut the ribbon with a bam. Okay, so on the count of 3, and Larry, you count us down.
3, 2, 1.
Bam! All right, thank y'all.
Good job, everybody.